We gather in the cosmos bright. Stars and ships take flight tonight. In the void where dreams do play. Soul citizens lead the way. Borders fade in nebula's light. Unknown worlds will chart tonight. Through the galaxy we soar. Endless journeys at our core. Borders fade in nebula's light. Unknown worlds will chart tonight. Through the galaxy we soar. Endless journeys at our core. Starry roads in endless skies. Soul citizens we rise. Charting courses never lost. Together the verses crossed. Squadrons call on the horizon. Battles fought, our hearts aren't frightened. In our ships we face the dawn. Soul citizens carry on. Oh, planets spin and light years fly. Boundless space where hopes reside. Motherhood in every star. Soul citizens, here we are. Borders fade in nebula's light. Unknown worlds will chart tonight. Through the galaxy we soar. Endless journeys at our core. Starry roads in endless skies. Soul citizens we rise. Charting courses never lost. Together the verses crossed.
Hello, hello, hello. Greetings, and welcome back to Soul Citizens. I'm GriffinGamingRPG, and I am here today with my good friend, who I always love having on with me when we get a chance to do a show together, yuoyoMeg. Meg, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Griff?
You're doing good. You got a nice, cool, relaxing background behind you. You got a relaxed look about you today. But we're going to be talking about no relaxed stuff. We're going to be talking about doing some work. We're going to be doing some work. And so Meg and I are going to have a little fun with you all tonight. Hoping all of you all are well. Let me say that first off. Meg, what have you been up to? What you been doing lately? I know you stream and I know you got married this year, but what else have you been up to? Anything exciting?
Honestly, no, nothing too crazy.
Okay.
Trying to get on a health grind.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
just taking a step back from playing video games all the time and trying to get into that. So maybe
I
less
gotcha.
of me, but yeah, a healthier version. So
I got you. I'm hoping that next year, if we go to CitizenCon together, if I see you again, you're going to see a different Griff. Okay, I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
Okay, because I need to make some serious changes in my life at this point, so I know exactly what you mean. So hopefully we'll both celebrate together. All right, we're going to shoot for it next year. We're going to celebrate together. Well, as you all know, we mentioned over the last couple of weeks, and this is going to be the last week we're going to mention it, but we're doing it because sometimes folks haven't been around. We have modified our format for the show. We are now doing the first few minutes of our show, kind of doing a review. We call it Star Citizen this week. It's a little bit of a review of what has taken place in Star Citizen, because as you all know, even though we're not getting a lot of ISCs and SCLs and things, CIG is still doing a lot of stuff, and instead of every quarter, it's every month. And so sometimes it's the newsletter, sometimes it happens to be an update, whatever. So we just try to touch base just to kind of get us caught up on what has happened in the previous week. And Meg, one of the big things that we just wrapped up from this last week, we were talking about the last couple of weeks, was Ship Showdown. And we got through the finals, right? Did you expect the Polaris to win? Or did you think that the Asgard might have had a slight chance? Or were you like, what was your feelings about the final result?
I thought the Polaris was going to win as soon as it came out. Like, whatever year it came out, it was going to win Best in Show.
Okay.
So I thought that was there is no way it wasn't going to win. But I did think the Asgard being like way less money,
Hmm.
it would have like a potential higher chance.
Yeah.
Because potentially there are not as many like whales out there, or
Right.
maybe I don't know. But I mean, the Polaris is a great ship, so
Hmm.
I mean, it definitely deserves to win.
Well, here was my argument. I agree with you 100%. I think my argument was more like, even though a lot of people don't own the Polaris, it's also one of those ships that everybody likes to get on because somebody else has one,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
they all pile on
And they're
somebody else's Polaris.
yeah, and they're littered throughout the verse, even just
Oh my God.
like
Yeah,
abandoned. So people get them all the
exactly.
time.
Exactly. It does make a difference. And like you said, you would think that the price point might have been a determining factor. But I will say this, it was a lot closer than some people thought, right? Because some people thought the Polaris was just going to wipe the Asgard completely. I don't know what the final numbers were, but I know I had checked earlier in that day and it was like only like a 2,000 point difference at one point. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like
Well,
it wasn't like it got wiped like some of the other vehicles
yeah,
did, which I was really surprised about.
yeah.
But let me ask you this. I know everybody talks about the Polaris, but I never asked you what do you think about the Asgard, especially now since it's been in the game for a little while. Have you flown it? Do you like it? Are you like, it's not my thing? What do you think about it?
I haven't flown it too much, but the Valkyrie has always been my thing. Like I love that
Mm,
ship, and
mm-hmm,
um, having just a little bit more. Same with like the raft. Like just having a little bit more space would always be great. And so
mm-hmm.
I feel like that was the answer to that. Like raft got its own little glow up, and then we just got a whole new ship instead of like a Valk glow up. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think the Asgard's pretty cool. I like ships like that. I like ships with multiple exits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like everything is there. Like it doesn't need to be super long. It's just like really it's like a square,
Yeah.
and everything that needs to be there is there.
Yep.
And yeah, I like the Asgard a lot.
Yeah. When we were at Invictus last year and they introduced like, was it like 4 new things? I think it was the MTC, the Guardian, I forget what the Star Lancer and the Asgard. I liked everything I saw, but I was waiting for that last day for Anvil because I was so curious about the Asgard, and I had a kind of price point in my head. I said, okay, if this thing costs more than this, forget about it, but it landed like right at the top of my price point that I wanted. And I'm like you, I was a big Valk fan. I still am. Right. But
Yeah,
because the need for that particular ship, holding 20 people and everything isn't completely there, you can do a little bit of that with other.
yeah,
I kind of let it go. But I did snatch up the Asgard. I will say that. I really did. And like you said, it's like all the little tweaks that they needed to do to the what is it called? The not the Asgard, the Valkyrie. You
yeah,
see them have kind of corrected it with the Asgard, right? So, and we know they'll probably shift those things over to the other one. So yeah, it's cool. Very,
yeah.
very cool. Very cool. Okay. Well, congratulations to the Polaris, all you Polaris owners out there. Don't forget, though, if you own the Prowler utility or the Polaris or the Medevac, there's some Medevac or the Asgard, those will still be eligible to get the new paints, right? When we come around to IAE. So everybody's a winner in some form, right? Okay. The next thing I want, so you know what? Oh, you know what? I've got cues for these, Meg. I'm so sorry. I forgot to put these on the screen. I should have had them up on the screen for everybody. Okay. All right. But I can put these on the screen. I can put the next ones on the screen. And that's the design brief. This was a thing that was kind of, I guess we had a little hint for this. Thracazogs, thank you so much, Thracazogs. We appreciate that. Thank you for the Prime sub. Thank you as always. What was I going to say? Remember about a week ago, not this week, but the week before, remember CIG dropped that medical thing again where they explained like what the different med pens and stuff were, right? And we were kind of wondering, because we knew the Apollo was coming, we said, they must be getting ready to do something with medical because they're kind of refreshing our brain about this med pen stuff. And then boom, right? They dropped this bomb on us, right? With this whole new thing with the design brief. So I want to get your thoughts a little bit on that. Let me read it and then you can give me your thoughts. I'll spare you the reading on the first one here. Star Citizen's persistent universe bolsters a comprehensive, ever-evolving medical system designed for both self-application and administration to others. From minor injuries to complete incapacitation, with multiple levels of treatments and utilizing a variety of vehicles, clinics, and hospitals, medical gameplay combines aspects of survival mechanics and altruistic service to others to provide a continually developing experience that touches everyone. In other words, we're going to start doing medical again. So, all right. So, earlier this year, there were some people who got frustrated. I won't say upset. I'll say frustrated because medical kind of diminished for people who like doing medical stuff. And I know we had said on the show to several people that, hey, give it some time. They're probably working on it. You know, they're talking about the Apollo this year. They just give it some time. And it looks like that's starting to happen. So give me your initial feelings when you saw this. You know, we knew about the Apollo, but give me your feelings when you saw they were opening up this new dimension now of bringing back medical gameplay in a different way. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was definitely nervous just because of the state of what medical is currently at. Where that. Yeah, I don't know, regardless of what they'll do, how we'll be able to combat the negative, which I mean, it's gonna happen. That's just the game, but yeah, I don't know. It excites me because I mean, yeah, if this goes over like the rescue beacons, like we haven't really had those, so yeah, I mean, medical. I want that to be my thing in this game. Like Apollo was the ship that it was one of the first ships. I think it was the second one that I wanted. First was the MSR.
Okay.
And so yeah, I don't know. Rescue beacons just don't seem that great. We have tier 0, so no one's really like we're just backspacing. We got the Pisces rescue. Everyone can backspace in a like cheap ship that you can even just buy it in game.
Right.
You don't have to spend real money. So it's like and the Ursa too. Yeah. So it's like I don't know. It just felt like where there was limited medical gameplay, they killed it. They absolutely obliterated it. And now hopefully we're gonna get to a spot where like they're killing what they introduced, which is the respawns, and we're gonna be able to like actually dive into some medical gameplay. I think still it's gonna be a little like I'm just gonna res you and there's nothing more in depth that you need, but at least we're getting which I don't know if we're like diving into that more, but at least we're getting the different costs, or they're not even different, they're the same right now. That like, we don't have to go into that, but the same cost for different injuries. But yeah, I just want there to be like a little more something, a little more depth to the medical gameplay.
Agreed.
Doesn't feel that great.
Yeah, agreed. I think that, you know, one of the things that we always try to remind everybody of is that everything's an iteration and everything is like step by step by step by step. I know a lot of times we want to see the full thing in game. I think that CIG has given us some hints to where they want medical to go. And I think it is exactly what you're saying, that it is that in-depth thing that they want. Just like we see depth in mining. I think they want the different careers to all have. But, you know, mining had to start somewhere, right? At first it was just nothing more than turning on the laser and that was it, right? But then later on it became all the other gadgets and the different heads and all this other stuff. And so I think that the fact that they brought out that thing about the med pins again was important. I know people have been ignoring the med pins, but I think what's going to happen, there's going to be an adjustment to that freaking med gun. Something tells me that's coming. Something tells me that's coming. And one of the first steps was, remember when they made it so that you have to choose between a pistol or your med gun? That was one of the first steps right there, right? Telling you the med gun is not going to be that, like you said, that thing you go to right away. That now you got to make a decision about which one is most important, right? And then the other thing was the fact that they added the distances. You know, they increased the distances. Remember, it was like 20 kilometers and 50 kilometers for the Ursa and the ships. Now it's bigger, right? So you can see, to your point, they're going to keep expanding it and keep refining it and tweaking it. So we're telling y'all, relax, breathe. Don't get freaked out about the 100,000. That's just where it is right now. You know, this is not the final. It's not in cement yet. So we just want to kind of tell you to take a deep breath and enjoy the moment. As Serious Fun would tell us, as he always tells us, to enjoy the ride, right?
They want us to test a variety of things, and if we're getting I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, if the respawning and like ways to get you back into the game aren't easy, I feel like it might deter people from wanting to test out more in game. So like, I don't know, I'm with it. But I'm also just ready. Like, things just need to start being more expensive. But I mean, it's like you said, baby steps. And so this, like, to your point, I'm glad you said that. That even reminded me, like, this is step one, and it's gonna get hopefully insanely better.
Absolutely. This was part 2. And this was the other thing too. Some people didn't see the part 2 page when they did that, the information they put out. But you guys make sure you look at both those pages because they were really, really in depth. There's a lot of information already there. On this second one, it said medical gameplay, like other systems. This is under life and death. Sorry, life again beyond 4.3. It says beyond 4.3.1. Medical gameplay, like other systems within the Star System universe, such as mining and salvage, is not a standalone endeavor within the overall development of the project. It is inexorably and essentially linked with several other systems like actor status systems, scanning, FPS traversal, beacons, and more. Because of this, forward development is often dependent on outstanding work to related systems first. It can often seem like this is vital and important aspect of our intended Star Citizen experience has taken a seat back to others, flashier systems. So what they're saying is that medical is also kind of dependent on other things where they want to go. And so sometimes things haven't gotten implemented because they need to get some other things in place first before they can start stepping it up even more. So to your point, Meg, like you said, baby steps, we keep adding to it. We keep adding to it. But it's also good that it gives us, to your point, the opportunity to comment about what we like and don't like. You can have something in theory, but it's not until it's actually out there that you find out if it really works, right? It could sound really good on paper, but until the players start doing it, until the players start coming up with stuff that you never thought of, you know what I mean? That's when you start finding out that, man, maybe this idea wasn't so good. We didn't know this was going to be a choke point. You know what I mean? So now we've got to do something, so give them room. Just give the input, gang. Post forums, positive things saying, hey, this doesn't work. What about this? Because this health thing is really important. Death of a spaceman has been a topic that folks have talked about for literally a decade. So we want to get this right. We want to get this right. You got medical ships? You said the Apollo was your number 2.
Yeah.
Really?
I have the Medivac. I have the
medical.
Rescue.
Oh,
I have
okay.
the Apollo. I have the Galaxy. I have the what's the other one? No, I think that's it. Galaxy. Yeah. The rest just have beds and stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm very excited for medical.
I am too. I've held on to my Cuddy Red all the time. Every time I think about it, nope. Hang on to it. It's going to get better. Right. So I've got the red, but I have the red because of a package. It's not because I bought the red separate. So I've got it in my package, and then I have a Pisces because that's always good to have. I think I melted my medical Ursa, but it's in my buyback, so I can always get it back. I had the Apollo, then I got rid of it, but I said when it comes in, I know I'm going to get it back because I'm like you. I'm into the whole medical. I would love to do medical. I really would. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to see what's going to happen. So anyway, all right. So and you got your medical bids, your modules and stuff too. They toss those in for you, right? So you're good to go.
Awesome.
Good to go. Were you going to say something else?
And I was going to say y'all definitely check out the Life and Death and Life Again Beyond 4.3.1 comlink because they dive into even more stuff that they're not really talking about now, but what they are going to be looking at for the future, especially like multiple respawn points, things like that. Like instead of just setting spawn and that's your spawn, and if like the ship blows up, you're all the way back to your home location. Like there'll be backups, which is like super freaking great. That's going to be awesome. They're gonna be like implementing a system where there'll be logic to where you're respawning to. Like you'll have options upon death. Like it's not just backspace and I'm going here. It's like you can go here, or you can't go here because of this reason. And like people will be able to set costs to their beds. Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited. Yeah, so like definitely check that out because they go into a little bit of what they're going to be adding in. And obviously everything is subject to change, but it's going to be cool.
There's a lot of cool stuff, y'all. Thanks, Meg, for bringing those up because once you get in there, you start seeing the bigger picture, right? It's not just this. Everybody's so focused on the $100,000 thing, but believe me, there's a lot more coming. So, and that number may tweak. That number definitely may tweak. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, if you can set your own prices, it could be free, probably. Just like refueling. Like if you buy for your org and you have a Starfare.
That's it.
Fuel free. Yeah. So
Yep. Well, I'll tell you what our friend Robert told us last week. He said, y'all come on my ship, BYOB, bring your bag, bring your own meds with you. That's what he said. He told us all. He said, I'm telling you now, bring your own gel, BYOG. He said, bring your own gel. Okay. So that's going to be the ticket.
That's going to make it great. Like the operating costs, like the
Mhm.
logistics role. Man,
Mhm.
yeah, that stuff's gonna be fun.
Yeah, yeah. Pops, thanks for the audio check too. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, well, Meg, let's go ahead. I don't have the pick of the week. I think I forgot to put the sneak peek up, so we're gonna have to skip that this week. But the sneak peek was just of a shot in ASD. There wasn't anything too revealing, but maybe there was. I don't know. It didn't seem too revealing to me, but maybe I missed out on it. I don't think I have it. Oh no, I do have the sneak peek. Actually, this isn't a sneak peek. I take it back. This is not a sneak peek. I do want to talk about this. CIG launched this week what looks like the beginnings of their marketing for Squadron 42. We got a newsletter from Squadron 42 and it had some details in it. And one of the things they included in it was this, kind of like map that showed the Odin system, which is where I don't know if much of, part of, all of the storyline for Squadron 42 is going to be based, but they showed various locations and gave a little bit of background behind them. And so, Meg, we've kind of had our own discussions in our Discord and channel about Squadron next year, right? We know CIG has talked about 2026, and there's been the whole question: is it first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, GTA 6, blah 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 blah, all these different things coming out. And one of the things that a lot of us have said is that we kind of felt like CIG would need at least a year to begin their marketing for Squadron 42. So if you look at where we are right now in the month of September, and they kick us off with this first introduction, I think I even heard, Meg, that they created a Squadron 42 their own URL. I haven't looked it up yet. It's chat. Do you know, Meg, if that's true? Like there's a squadron42.com. Somebody tell me in chat, is there a squadron42.com or something? Or did I read that wrong? Did I hear wrong? I can't remember. But my point is that I think that now we're going to start. Oh, yeah. CC Creator says, yes, there is. So I think that now we're going to start seeing marketing happen, right? Because CIG is going to have to start like educating people about a game that we kind of think everybody knows about. I think most people know about. Like, I'm sure, haven't you had people come in your chat before? Have you ever had people when you were streaming and they ask you what's Squadron 42? Like they didn't know about it, or do people always seem like they know about it? Yeah.
No, they ask.
Yeah. Okay. So I think CIG, you think they've got a job ahead of them to kind of educate people about Squadron? Definitely. Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys make sure you check out this map. It's really interesting. It's really big. It's got a lot of stuff on it. Check it out when you get time. It's not the sneak peek. It is in a newsletter that we got for Squadron 42. So make sure you guys take a look at that. Okay. All right, Meg, you ready to jump into it?
Yep.
All right, let's jump into it. Let's change our page here and let's go over here. Okay, so our topic today is you better work. All right. And, we're talking about this because, like, let me ask you this, Meg. What's the main way that you make your money in the game? What's the thing that you do currently or most of the time where you bring in all your UEC or AUEC? Is there anything in particular you do when you want to make money?
Yeah, either like multiple small cargo hauls or mercenary work.
Okay. I think that the lucrative ones are those. Some people are into the mining and salvaging, right? That's the way some people, definitely. Yeah, they're into the mining and salvaging. Yeah, exactly. It all depends, right? But what's cool is that you've got the variety, right? If whichever way you want to go, you got options, which is always good. And I think CIG said they always would like to always be able to provide us with options. For me, I'm an industrialist, so I like mining for sure. I can do mining anytime. Salvage, I'm usually have to be in the mood for, because sometimes, I just have to be in the mood for it. But when I start doing it, I'm fine. It's a chill thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a chill thing.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Doing trading, I used to like doing, Meg, but this was a few patches back when the Hull C was actually most of the time working. I used to love doing Hull C runs. I would do a run from Terra to, Terra to ArcCorp to Hurston. No, it was, I take that back. It wasn't Terra. It was ArcCorp to Hurston to the Pyro Gate and back. There was like a triangle you could do, and you make with a full Hull C, you'd be cleaning up, right? It was really great. And so that was like if I just wanted to make some big money, but it was nice. Yeah. I like big ships. Not like I was gonna say I like big, but I like big ships. Okay, so I was trying to go with the big ships thing. So, so there are ways, but there's going to be ways that even things we're doing now, I guess I want to ask you as we go through these different ones, do you think we should pay people even splits, or do you think you should pay people based upon what they do? You know what I mean? What they do.
Yeah, definitely what they do, because there's even the Red Legion, I'm pretty sure, like, they have, like, this software set up somewhere. I don't know what it's called.
Okay.
There's, like, a website. It's more than just Red Legion, but, like, they have, like, a software set up for mining, and so, like, they figure out, they put in, like, people and what they've done and what they've gotten, and, like, it splits out what, like, people will get paid at the end.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, like, stuff like that should definitely be in that, or, like, I'm more excited for, I mean, yeah, people gotta make money, but, if it's, like, group play, I think it just depends on, like, who you're working with. That's a negotiation right there, like, how much are you worth? I'll pay you, like, 10K even though I'm making, like, 2 mil. Are you gonna accept that?
Right.
If not, move on. Go find better work.
Okay.
But I definitely, I don't think it should be even. Unless you're playing with, like, friends and it's, like, 2 people, 3 people. I don't know, you know?
Okay.
Like, if one person is refueling, rearming, repairing, and you're just there like, where's my half? Like, buddy,
Ooh.
you realize how much this Polaris costs to repair? You know? Stuff like that. Or, like, you're working on taking down an Idris, and there's an Eclipse out here just blasting its torps, and then you have, like, a Gladius. Like, who should get more money? I don't know.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Y'all go check Meg's LinkedIn, y'all, because she's gonna be a hard employer, boy. Y'all better look out. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Now she's counting already. She got a calculator. Can I help you? Okay.
Yeah.
So
your pay is just the opportunity to be here.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, fair enough. So let me get you to take a look at the picture that we got on the screen there, right? And I want to ask your thoughts about this. CIG has been quietly and slowly introducing not just armors into the game, but different types of jobs, right? So the first person we've got is in a toxic waste uniform, right? The second one up there is a security guard. Third one up there has got on a firefighting suit. And the fourth one has got on like an engineer or refinery worker thing, right? And we also know that those are things that CIG has talked about implementing into the game, right? Bad environments like radiation, solar radiation, which we already have the big radiation suit, right? The big fat, marshmallow guy, right? But security is a factor for ships. When we start bringing our ships and putting our ships in places, you want to have somebody who's kind of watching the store while you're away from it. We know that fire is coming. And if you read each one of these items, these clothings that you see up here, there are descriptions up there saying what those different things are for. And CIG kind of has a tendency that when they put something in the game, they don't want it to be just cosmetic. They want us to actually do something with it. So, you know how we have all these lockers and stuff on our ships? Do you think that players will, how can I say this? If a fire breaks out, will players want to go throw the fire suit on and go out and put the fire out, especially if it actually protects them and helps them do the firefighting? Or do you think they're just going to throw on their armor and go out there and fight the fire?
Hopefully it gets to a point where, we already have like radiation and different suits that have better protection against radiation. And so like, hopefully we'll have fire protection and like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Hopefully there's a real reason to be wearing this stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I'm hoping
you want to be wearing it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that if you decide to wear your armor to go up there, you're going to burn up and die even faster because of all that metal being on you, right? Or whatever the material is. If you read the description on that ASD firefighter suit, it actually says it's fire retardant to keep fire off of you. And some people don't know. CIG showed us when they did the fire thing that, I don't know if you remember, there was like a layer of smoke. They said you could pass out just because of the loss of oxygen in that area. So that thing has an oxygen tank on the back of it too, right? So now if you are going in to do firefighting, you can do it. But if you go in there wearing a flight suit or armor, you may choke out, right? Just because of the smoke, right? So I'm just like, to your point, I hope they make these things very functional, right? They're in fact so functional that it's like, let me grab my fire suit and go put the fire out. And now sometimes you don't have to always do that. Don't get me wrong. If it's a small fire, sure, you can keep on your flight suit or whatever and use an extinguisher. But if you go into an engineering area where the whole place is just burning up, right? I think that those suits should be at a locker somewhere near the back where if somebody can jump in them real quick, go put out the fire, But that's just one example. So we're going to go through these. Me and Meg are going to go through some of these with you all, and we're going to start out with the very beginning, right? The captain. We're going to talk about the captain. Why don't you read that one for us, Meg? The captain commander.
A ship captain's responsibilities are to maintain overall command of the vessel, ensuring the safety of the crew, passengers, and cargo. Their duties include navigating the ship, managing the crew and their duties, overseeing the loading and unloading of goods and people, and handling operations related to the voyage.
Okay. Let me ask you, do you think the captain should be the owner of the ship? They don't have to be necessarily the person doing, but do you think that that's who you would consider the captain, the owner of the ship? Or do you think that the owner should let somebody else? Or I get people could do whatever they want. I'm just kind of curious. Do you think that the captain should be the owner because it's their ship, right? I mean, if they want to get somebody else to be captain, I mean, hey, I don't feel like being captain. You be captain, you know?
Yeah, like exactly what you just said. Like as long as that person knows that they're commandeering that vessel, then it shouldn't matter because hopefully we're at a place where it's not just the person in the pilot seat who's able to like repair the ship and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
I don't think, especially because like there'll be people renting out or like just loaning people. Like if they have org ships, so they're just like, yeah, take this, take this, take this. Like they're not going to be there.
True. Do you, when you're in a ship with a group of people, what's your default position? Do you usually consider yourself captain and pilot? Do you consider yourself captain, but you let somebody else fly? Do you consider yourself captain? You offer other people? How do you kind of balance it out when you go out with a group?
I feel like it's basically like we just choose who flies.
Okay.
And then everybody else gets in a turret.
Okay. Fair.
That's like all we really have at the moment, in my opinion.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
I know that there are people who operate and do more, but like me personally, that's how I do it.
Okay. All right. But when you're in a group, are you usually the pilot or do you defer sometimes to other people?
Yeah, like if anybody wants to fly, then I'll ask. And if not, then I'll fly. That's basically how that goes.
Okay.
Like, I don't mind.
All right. And that takes us to the position that we're talking about now, the pilot helm, right? Ship's captain's I'm sorry. I got the same description up there twice. Okay. I don't know. I must have been copy and pasted it too late at night. All right. But basically what it says is that the pilot is the person who is responsible for safely delivering the ship, piloting the ship, navigating through things. But this is going to be with the assistance of other people. It also has a knowledge of where you're going. That was one of the other things in relation to pilots. Y'all ignore this description. It's a copy of what a ship's captain is. Let me ask you this. Do you let any, I'm gonna try to say this the right way. I know I'm gonna say it the way we say it. Do you let any old body pilot your ships?
No, I mean, no. Yeah, definitely not. I mean, there's like, if I don't even know how to say it. Like, there are times when you just want to get to A and B.
Okay.
And you feel like you can do that better. Or if you're flying a type of ship that you don't feel like someone's going to be able to maneuver it well.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Just things like that. Otherwise, I feel like it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
But it depends.
It depends. Have you ever
depends on the ship.
Have you ever gone out in a group and been with somebody who was not such a great pilot? Oh, really? You got to think about it. That's good.
No, yeah, because it's not that hard.
Okay.
I feel like the hammerhead would probably be the only one where it's been like, because like you really have to put yourself. You can't fly like at somebody. You have to position your turrets. So that's been the only ship I feel like where I'm like, dude, what? Like we can't see these guys. Like, what are you doing?
Okay.
And they're just yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wish I could say the same thing. You're very sweet and very nice about yours. I have been with some people that was like, somebody else take the wheel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's for me, I equated to, have you ever like taken a road trip in the car? And there are some people that you can actually close your eyes and go to sleep and not worry about them. And then there's those other ones where you just stay awake.
Oh man,
that's how I feel sometimes. Is that I've been with that person who I felt like And you know, it's actually, you know, what's really helped a lot? CIG removed the ability to watch outside of your ship like if you're not in the pilot seat, right? So now I'm not as paranoid as I used to be, but I used to kind of be checking and keeping an eye on where people were going. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to know when I was going to die. But now you just don't know, right? If you're not up there where the windows are, you can forget about it. But I was just kind of curious about, you know, how you feel about people piloting. I am pretty open to people piloting. You know, if people want to do it, it's, you know, I just want to make sure they feel comfortable with whatever ship it is. Because there are some people, they don't like flying big ships, for example, right? They may say, no, Polaris, I'm not going to handle that. You put me in a Connie, yeah, I'm cool. You know what I mean? So it all depends on what people feel comfortable with, too.
Yeah, definitely.
There is something I want to put in this, and bear with me, gang, because I do want to ask Meg's opinion on something. I did find part of the description that I was supposed to put in. I can't believe that I actually doubled and put the a double of the thing in here, but let me put it in here real quick. Let's see. You guys bear with us. We are. Did I change it in there? Let me see. It didn't change, did it? It still says the same thing on that. Oh, you know why? Because I didn't hit enter over here. Let me do that. Here it is. I know you guys are like, Griff, what's going on? Copy. Here it is. Here. Okay, we're going to see the wording change here a little bit because I do want to ask Meg's opinion on this. All right. So it's this bottom part that I want to focus in on. There. Make it a little bigger so everybody can read it. All right. Now, you touched on this a little bit, Meg, when you talked about like flying the Hammerhead does take a little bit of understanding and skill of how that ship is. I think there are other ships that are like that too. Like, for example, the A2, because, you know, it has all its guns are underneath, right? So you have when have a pilot that understands that their vulnerability spot is really coming from above that ship. Do you think that there'll be this thing where people will actually get to a point where, you know, I don't want to say people have to be certified to fly, but you want to make sure they have experience in flying a ship, especially when they have a lot of other people. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. And like it depends on like what you're doing, because there are people like I feel like I know some of the like the best players in the game when it comes to ship combat, and it doesn't matter if you have like a fully crewed ship, like you're dying to them in a Gladius. Like I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you're gonna want people who know what they're doing, depending on what you're doing. Like you're just flying around, like you're just going delivering boxes, like using your Polaris as a salvage boat, you know, like okay, who cares? Like you're probably impenetrable, but like I don't know, like you're going to PvP, like you're going to Hathor, like maybe you want people protecting, like Jumptown used to be a little chaotic. You're gonna want people watching out for the bombs and making sure that they're taking those out before they hit the ground.
Right.
You know, just you want people who you can trust in the positions that you'll trust them in. And so yeah, I would want to know or like see, like I'm not great, so like don't take me saying all this stuff as like, oh, like you suck. Like yeah, I know, that's why I have other people who are good. But yeah, like you want to know that, like you want to feel comfortable and safe. And so like making like I work in like a group of 2 to 3 and we put ourselves in positions that we know we're going to be great at. We don't have the expert PvP flyer inside. We have them outside, like for exec hangars, for example. Right. People who are better with like FPS inside or like on the ground for things. So,
smart.
Yeah, that's how we operate now with a small group. So I can only imagine a larger group or a larger group.
That's smart. I know, and the reason why I'm asking about the pilot room, we're going to move on past the pilot because we've got a lot of things to cover. But the reason why I'm asking is this was years ago, Meg. Like when I say years, I mean like probably like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. No, it was even longer than that. It was when we first got Grim Hex, right? And back in the day, there was not a marker for Grim Hex. You literally had to find it in the asteroid belt, right? Which was a real pain. So, I remember getting a bunch of people. I didn't get them together, but they all were like, let's go to Grimhex together. Let's do it in a ship. So we grabbed the Starfarer. Okay. About 8 or 9 people got on the Starfarer. And we're on our way to Grimhex and we found it. We got there. We knew where it was. And I was piloting. And for some reason, as I was coming into Grimhex, you know, the Starfarers, a lot of the mist ships, they have a tendency to drift like really bad, right? Well, drifting is not a good thing to do in an asteroid belt, as you know, right? And so I was trying to make this hard turn to come into, because back then people would shoot you down like crazy if you went into Grimhex, right? Yeah. So I'm trying to get in as quick as possible. Came in too fast. I'm trying to turn, and you could just feel that thing. It was like somebody just took a can of grease and just put it out in space, because it just kept sliding and couldn't even see it, right? Because I'm facing this way and we're just drifting this way. And next thing you know, right into an asteroid, everybody dies, right? We had a good laugh about it, but I also felt bad because everybody died. So now when you start thinking about what happens when people start bringing like their suits of armor with them and their weapons and those 100,000 kegs of medical stuff, you know what I mean? And now, you know, if you're the person that blows everybody up, you know, you might want to make sure you have somebody responsible at the wheel. I think that's going to be basically the end of that story. Let's talk about the co-pilots. Co-pilots are assist with the flight plan review. They system check. They manage navigation, communication equipment, share flying responsibilities with the captain, and gaining experience for eventual promotion. I don't think this is not a role that we do yet, but I know CIG wants this to happen. Usually there's like a pilot and co-pilot seat. I think the Polaris doesn't it allow the co-pilot to take over the ship too? It does, right? Doesn't that second seat allow you to fly the ship?
Potentially. I know the Zeus can.
Is it the Zeus?
I do it all the time.
Really? Okay. And they said yes. Okay. They said yes, it does. Captain Jones said, okay. So it is kind of cool now that somebody who's piloting the ship says, hey, I need to take a break or I need to get up, right? And then somebody else is right there in that other seat. Because remember the old days, somebody got stuck in the seat, you were up the creek, you had to go kill them and get their body out, right? So now if you get those co-pilot things working, that's going to be really cool. And there are a lot of other ships like the Carrack, the Connies that have that extra seat, right? And CIG had talked about giving permissions to other folks. So I think co-piloting is actually going to start to become a thing, right? Where the pilot doesn't have to get out of the seat to do something. You can have a co-pilot there to help. And even if you're in a small ship, like you said, like a Zeus, perfect, right? You can still do it. Okay. Let's talk about this next one, Navigator. Give me some read on that one. It's a long read there for you.
A ship navigator is responsible for the safe planning and execution of a vessel's voyage by constantly tracking the ship's position and advising the captain on route adjustments to avoid hazards like weather and obstacles. Key duties include creating passage plans, ensuring navigation systems are functional, monitoring environmental conditions, and coordinating with the bridge and other crew members to ensure the ship's safe arrival at its destination.
Yeah. Now, this one we haven't had, but I think we're going to start seeing, you know, like on some of the ships, they've got that globe in the back, right? And right now we know that globe can be used for tactical reasons, but it's also possible for scanning reasons. I think that you're going to have somebody on your ship who keeps track of what's going on in the verse for trade lanes. Like, you know how sometimes when you go trading, we get those rumors like pirates are at so-and-so, right? But we got to get there. Or like you said, Jumptown. You need a navigator, somebody who's going to be able to say, this is the best route to take. Pilots aren't necessarily that person, right? But you need somebody who knows what's going on in the system, best ways to get somewhere, and can advise and say, nah, you know, earlier today, there were reports coming up in chat like crazy that the pirates are at so-and-so. You know what I mean? It'd be really cool to have somebody like that. Go ahead.
Yeah, adding like the quantum routes or quantum stopping points for mantises and things like that. Like, I know, oh man, I stumbled upon that one day. I think there's like a whole website that will help, but man, it's so interesting. I kind of want to get into that sometime, but yeah, I feel like educating yourself on that is super important too, depending on like what's your ship's purposes.
We used to, in Eve, if you wanted to get somewhere and you did jumps, their jump points, they call them gates, right? They were, how can I say this? They were big rings, and people could basically set up blockades there, right? And so, but they couldn't cover every place, right? They couldn't cover every jump point, but they would cover the ones that were the major trade lanes where they knew people would probably come through. So you had to like kind of do your homework to say that if I want to get from here to here, let's say it normally would take me 3 jumps, but I know that those are being monitored. if I go this way, this way, this way, this way, it may take me 7 jumps, but I can get there safely, right? That's the type of thing you want your navigator to be able to tell you, to say, hey, I've already looked at the routes. This is the best way. It's going to take us a little longer, but if we go this way, it's safer. You know what I mean? So I know this gets really detailed. I'm not saying that y'all got to have somebody like this. I'm saying it would be cool to have somebody who kind of, if you're playing in really big groups like that, that they can help you with that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely simple now, but hopefully once we get like more systems and more lanes of travel, it'll be like that. Because I mean, people should already know not to take like straight paths to places when you're trading.
Shh! Don't give that away, Meg. Don't give that away.
A to B. Don't make any stops.
Don't make any stops. Right. Okay. This is one that's coming up. Flight engineer. A flight engineer monitors, operates, and maintains an aircraft's complex mechanical and electrical systems, including engines, fuel components, environmental controls, and often on larger spacecraft to ensure safe and efficient flight. They perform pre-flight inspections, assist in flight planning, manage system adjustments during flight, handle troubleshoot repairs, and the role is crucial, especially in military operations. CIG kind of gave us a little bit of the hint to this, and I'm wondering whether or not, one of the things you hear people talk about all the time is like how much time it takes to do things in Star Citizen, right? And I always look at, well, what are the things that we can do to make sure that it doesn't take as much time? Do you think that like on big ships like a Polaris or Idris, anything that's big, right? Even a Carrack, do you think that people will get to a point where like an engineer gets on the ship maybe 15 minutes ahead of everybody, 30 minutes ahead of time? And because remember, CIG said, if you go through and check all your components and make sure they're good, you should be okay. Like, when is the right time to do that type of check? I think like for an engineer or people who are doing engineering, they should be like, if you tell the group, we're going to leave at 2:00, them engineers need to be there like at 1:30. You know what I mean? Kind of making sure all your components are 100%.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because, I mean, that might not even be the only logistic thing that's going on there. So, yeah, you'll definitely, I mean, 30 minutes, that person might need an hour.
Not an hour, right? Yeah, depending.
They're still playing, they're still put on their armor, trying to look nice.
Yeah. And the other factor is like, not to be funny, but like you had this whole new thing is coming up with the med thing. That's something that you got to pre-check, right? I mean, somebody's got to come on and make sure like how many people are going, right? And, making sure that we've got enough of the med gel things here, right? So that we can cover in case something comes up. I'm saying those are the type of, and Captain Jones says those are pre-flight checks, things that are done ahead of time so that when it's time to rock and roll, you don't find like we spent 45 minutes just trying to get ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The group start thinking ahead of time, doing some stuff.
I agree. Yeah, if it were me, like even now, I mean, things kind of get a little chaotic with cargo like disappearing and stuff like that. But I honestly enjoy knowing, like, okay, ahead of time, like we do ladies' night with some Star Citizen ladies, and knowing like, okay, this is where we're going, what we're going to be doing, this is what we're going to need. Like, have this ready. Like, I'll already have a crate with all the armor, all the multi tools, all the yada yada yada, ammo, crews, like just ready to go. Just move that box. Like, there's no need for people to like run down and go get this. And I just got here. Like, I still need to go set spawn. Yet, like, like we're already good on that. So and we have that a little bit. And definitely excited for. I hope it gets like that. What you're saying. That's
very cool. Now, mind you, this flight engineer position is the one that most of us are familiar with, where the flight engineer panel is, right? Usually it's in the cockpit or somewhere around there. This is the person that actually monitors that and kind of keeps an eye on how the systems are going. They're communicating with whoever's flying the ship, the crew, the captain. If the weapons officer says, hey, I need more power, the engineer is doing what they can to help balance it out. Or if there's damage to the ship, maybe, the pilot says, one of our shields is down. The engineer can identify that shield and say, hey, it's shield number 3 on deck 2. And that's what that person is doing. They're like that interface between the engineering people that are actually doing the hard work and also those who are in the cockpit area of the ship, the navigator, the captain, the pilot, the co-pilot. That's a very cool role. It's a role that we have even in airplanes now. You have a flight engineer who sits behind the pilot and co-pilot, right? That's what their job is, to kind of monitor the systems on the ship. Okay. Now we're going to get to these like sub roles that are part of flying around, right? And we're going to start out with this, and this goes back into engineering again, because these are the ones that CIG mentioned. They talked about an engineering tuner. Why don't you read that one real quick?
Yep. A ship engineering tuner, often a marine or calibration engineer, specializes in optimizing a vessel's engine performance for efficiency, power, and compliance. While all ship engineers maintain a vessel's systems, a tuner focuses specifically on adjusting the engine's core operational parameters.
Okay. So CIG told us that these components, as they continue to build them out, there will be this being ability to make them better, to tweak them, basically, to get more performance out of them. Or again, it may be just a matter of like the flight blades. Remember those? They introduced flight blades, right? Something that does an enhancement to make a component better. That's what your tuner is going to be out there trying to do. And that's one type of engineering. The other one is a mechanic. And a mechanic is once again a marine technician, is responsible for the maintenance, repair, troubleshooting of ships' mechanical and electrical systems, including propulsion, engines, components, fuses. Their duties involve performing routine maintenance checks, diagnosing and fixing complex issues, maintaining parts, inventories, keeping logs, ensuring all engineering equipment functions correctly for safe and efficient ship operations. Meg, you hit on something that is also important, that I think that the complexity of what Chris Roberts has talked about he wants Star Citizen to be is starting to happen. They're starting because they're talking about it more. I don't know if you remember a few weeks ago, one of the questions that came up on the SCL of the Star Citizen Live had to do with reloading ammo. Do you remember that? And they talked about what you would do is on certain ships, if you want to reload ammo, you would bring a box of ammo and put it on the cargo grid. Remember? Now, a lot of people keep thinking about the cargo as they're thinking about it from a trading aspect, right? I want a big cargo because I want to be able to haul, make money. But on a lot of our ships, your cargo grid is going to function for a lot of other things. It may function for ammunition. It may function for food, medical supplies. And the way CIG is talking, that, yeah, you can maybe put some boxes on there for things you loot and stuff. But if the Polaris's cargo grid is actually the way that ammunition is continually fed into the ship, you got to use that grid up, right? So, or if it's the medical supplies, right? I mean, there's only so many medical drawers on a ship. So maybe you want to bring some extras, you put them in a crate, you put them on the grid, right? That way the medical facility in your ship can access that information, those resources rather. So I think that people like your engineers and stuff, we're talking about them, who are those people that come on the ship ahead of time and make sure everything's together. Even if you've got a med bay, your medical people maybe make sure that their stuff is on there that they need, right? And then when it's time to go, 2:00 comes, okay, now everybody shows up, right? We get ready to go out and stuff. I'd love to see it. And I know for some people that gets into a role play thing maybe, but I don't think it's role play. I think it's just playing the game. I think that's the direction they're going. Do you think people are going to go for that? Or do you think that's going to be a little bit too much because they're kind of used to just jumping and going?
I mean, they're going to have to. It sounds like if this is the way that CIG is moving with it, like what's the workaround? There isn't like this. That's how the game is going to play. Like I don't see it. I mean, I feel like Star Citizen is RP. Like that's what they're getting at. Like everything is physicalized, everything is slowed down, things are advanced in depth. Like it's not just, I'm loading into a lobby and playing team deathmatch. Like,
Okay.
So it's gonna take time. Like you getting ready, everybody's there. It's still gonna take 30 minutes to get to the system you're trying to get to, maybe. Like, you have no idea like what y'all geared up for the weekend. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, even doing one event, I feel like takes hours. Which is great. So yeah, I mean, if we're gonna have to load boxes onto our ship, like I feel like we kind of do stuff like that now. Not really, but
I just
don't know. Like,
I think a lot of it is thinking ahead. Yeah, I think a lot of it is just people. If you think ahead, you minimize that feeling of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's when if you, like you said earlier, it's like when you're ready to go and you show up and then there are people saying, "Oh, wait a minute, I got to go get a med pen or I got to go get food." Then that extra 5 or 10 minutes just kind of starts to exponentially make things feel longer. I know, like in my org, At one point, we used to be waiting on people, and it was like after that, it was like, okay, be here. We're going to leave at Port Olisar at 2:00 on Saturday. That meant go get your food. Matter of fact, save your character at Port Olisar the night before. So you don't have to fly there, you know? So, I mean, I think it's going to take that type of thing for people to get used to. Because a lot of times people just figure, oh, it'll only take me a couple of minutes to get there. And then you realize, oh, shoot, I forgot to get my ammo. I got my guns, but, you know, just all types of stuff happens. I think people just have to start thinking a little differently. But that's just me.
Yeah. And and hopefully there are ways for you to skip that potential RP and just spend the money.
Yeah.
Like there is for like auto loading. Yes, maybe you can refill rearm repair, but it takes time. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here's one. Why don't you read that one for security?
The primary role of a ship security officer is to maintain the safety and security of the vessel, its crew, and its cargo, conducting risk assessments and leading security inspections to prevent threats, unauthorized boarding, and illegal cargo smuggling. Ship security officers are responsible for responding to security incidents like piracy or stowaways.
Okay. In light of, people have been used to stealing ships, right? Like, you know, well, you don't see it happen a lot, but people will steal ships, right? But but because people haven't been able to really like store things on ships, right? Like we're using this idea about the med gel things, right? Those are going to have value to them, the med gels, right? Environmental suits will start having value to them. There'll be things that you'll be putting on your ship, especially if you've got like boxes of ammo sitting on your grid. That's going to have value. Do you think that people will actually start leaving people on their ship for security? Like you stay behind and watch the ship kind of thing? Or...
I would. You know how easy it is to open up a door on a ship? Like all you do is melee it a couple times or shoot it with a suppressed gun. Like I'm sure that it'll get easier and there'll be like other ways to get into a ship. Like I see it. I do it. I do it.
I know.
Some ships have become harder to get into, which is great. Like they should be. The Polaris, but people do it.
Now,
CIG need 2 people.
Right. Now, CIG said they're going to make it harder. They said they're going to make it more difficult, right? They said it's coming. But to your point, hacking is coming, right? So there's still going to be a way for people to do it, right?
It takes one person to freaking backspace your ship. Just know that. At least right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what the backspacing to self-destruct is going to look like. Maybe it's more involved. Maybe you have to go down to engineering and destroy the quantum replicator. I'm making up words.
Yeah. And I hear you. There was in Eve, there were people would do, this is what people would do at Eve. They would infiltrate your group and be hanging out with you like 1, 2, 3 years, Meg. 3 years. And then they would all of a sudden they launch it on you. They catch that day when everybody was asleep, you know, and they wake up at 3 a.m. and they would get to that corp hangar and you wake up the next day and every ship, all the money, everything is gone. Yeah. Right. Now I'm saying, you know, with orgs, you may get people who will come in and hang out with you for a few weeks and blah, 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 you know, and I saw you guys on the thing, Meg, I saw your stream, but they actually with somebody else's group, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if you get that person who just all of a sudden while everybody's doing something, they come up behind your pilot and pop them in the head, pop, take it and gone. You know, so I'm wondering if even having security just to make sure there's somebody that's trusted that's on the ship with your stuff. And here's the cool thing. There are some people who would love to do just that. They don't necessarily want to go down in the bunker or go into the warehouse. You know what I mean? They are cool with staying on the ship while the team is doing something to help them out, you know? So I'm hoping that these other roles that some people dismiss and don't think are that big of a deal, that it will be opportunities for those other people who want to do something a little different. You know, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people that has no problem with, one of the reasons why I bought the Valkyrie, because I pictured myself being the pilot that dropped everybody off and then went up
Yeah.
into orbit, you know what I mean, and waited for the call,
Yeah.
and then came back and got
Yeah.
everybody. That there are other people who they don't want to do that. They want to have a gun and go in and do the shooting. You know,
Right.
I'm the guy that wants to deliver everybody safely. I'll feel so great to know that I've dropped them in and everybody made it. That's my gameplay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's room for all types of gameplay for people, right? Okay, let's check out this next one here. Oh, the one that everybody loves, cargo loader. A ship cargo loader, or stevedore, is responsible for loading and unloading cargo from vessels using specialized equipment like cranes and forklifts to ensure goods are moved efficiently and safely. I know that moving boxes ain't for everybody. I completely get it, which is why I'm glad that CIG is, offering the auto load system for people who just don't want to be bothered with that. They're willing to pay a little bit money. But I will tell you this, I did an auto load once on a ship.
Yep.
I set up for auto load, and by the time I got all the way back to my ship, I still had to wait like another 3 or 4 minutes. And I did it as a test. If I had loaded that stuff myself, I would have been done and gone. But it actually took longer, even though I didn't have to do the work. And so I remember feeling like, how would I feel? If I really want to go, is that going to be enough to make me load it, or am I still going to be willing because I paid for it? You know what I mean? Let the auto load system kick in. Do you remember during the what was it called? The box mission thing we were doing? What was it called? Something drive. I can't remember what it was. The resource drive. Did you see that guy who was out there with the Atlas who was loading people for free? Did you see the video on that guy called the elevator guy?
I didn't watch it, but I've heard of it.
Okay. What happened was he got fame and notoriety because people would land, at an elevator, and he would load your ship for you for free. So you never had to do nothing. All you had to do was bring the stuff up. He hooked you up and you just take off. And that's all he did. That's all he did all day. And people were like, what's wrong with this dude? Right. And you know what he said? I like loading ships. That was it. Yeah. He wasn't. And I mean, I'm sure there were some people who threw some money at him, but he wasn't asking for any pay or anything. He loved just sitting out there with the Atlas and getting people. Because remember how people were kind of blocking people in and people were getting. He was just. He was throwing it down. I mean, he was snatching boxes and throwing them there like boom, 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 and you were gone. And my point is, there are people who do like doing mundane stuff like loading boxes. What about you, Meg? Meg said, nope, not me. Nope.
It's not terrible.
Okay.
I really actually did enjoy Resource Drive.
Okay.
And I was that person as well. Like I heard people complaining all the time. There's no space. Find space.
Mm-hmm.
Get down there. Start loading ships. Get them gone. Load the next person. Now you're next. It's that simple. Get an Atlas. All you have to do is claim it, and you can pull it up that same elevator. Then pull up your load. Then throw it on the ship. Leave the Atlas for the next person, or it'll be there when you come back.
Yeah,
honestly,
and it was.
Resource Drive was super fun, in my opinion.
Yep. I think that because they go ahead.
No, that's it. No, that's it.
No, I was going to say, I think it was because all those little pieces that didn't make sense before came together, right? The Atlas felt very purposeful. It wasn't just this freak thing. The raft became purposeful, right? The raft been around forever, right? But all of a sudden you were able to connect this with this, and now it was like, oh, I get it. You know what I mean?
So fluid. It was so fluid. It felt right.
Yep. Just like moving from a 1/8 box and a 1 SCU box to now having a 32 SCU box, right? Loading isn't a big deal. If you had to load 634 SCU single boxes, you lose your freaking mind, right? But you get the 32s and it's like, hey, it ain't so bad, right? It's not so bad after all, So I agree with you 100% on that. I agree 100%.
You got to meet so many cool people. Oh my gosh. There were so many awesome people.
Yes, it was.
I used voice comms more during that event than I've ever in my life. That was crazy.
Well, that's good though. I mean, it is good. It is good. Now, the one position that we very familiar with, right, is the turret gun operator, right? A ship turret gun operator is a member of a large crew that mans and operates ship's gun turrets, which is a rotating armored weapon mount. The overall responsibilities involve loading, aiming, and firing the gun under the direction of the ship's gunnery control system. Maybe chat can help out. Meg, maybe you could help out with this question. I know that you can target turrets on ships. I've seen them destroy the guns on the turret. My question is, does the person in the turret get killed too, or is it just destroy the weapon?
It depends. Sometimes just like you just can't use it anymore. It's broken. Sometimes you die. It depends like on how
Okay.
like what hit you.
Okay.
I've died in a turret. And then I've also been like, wait, this isn't working anymore. And it's because your turret like has 0 health.
Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, and the reason why I'm asking is because now I'm going to go to the big picture on this turret and all these things, the tuner, the mechanic, the security, the loader. You know, do you feel these are positions that should get paid?
Yeah.
Okay. 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 I'm and on your scale, you would pay people based upon the level or importance of their work, or would you just negotiate it to whatever? Like, would you do one of those contracts that, like, I'm paying this gunner one price, this gunner another price, but I'm paying her because that's what he asked for. This other guy didn't ask for it.
I'm looking for elevator guy. He just likes loading boxes. Okay. That's my cargo guy. I don't even have to pay him. He's free. I'm looking for those people. If I can't, then we start the haggle.
Okay, okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right, so y'all heard her. Y'all heard her. Just sign up for Meg's LinkedIn. She'll hook you up. All right, all right. That's
I'm
cool.
Honestly, for real in the game right now, I do not even care about money. I take zero money from all things. Like when we split, do not give it to me.
Yeah.
If it does, or like some people are the same too. It goes to like org funds. So I'm more with that. I'm not a whale. Got a community. I have ships, so I don't have to like spend my AUEC on that. So like, you know, I'll send people money. Like, yeah.
I
like,
got you.
Go ask me. Not a sugar mama. I'm just saying.
Okay. All right. Well, we are going to.
I'll do everything for free.
You do all everything. Okay, so these positions are like the ones that CIG has kind of talked about. We kind of know that they want to move in the direction of all the stuff that we talked about, and most of this stuff is stuff. Well, I'd say 70% of this is stuff that was in the cockpit. The other stuff was other parts of the ship, and then of course there's the loader that can be on your ship or working in a hangar for you. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to start talking about some of the more unconventional positions that people could take and some of the other positions that CIG has talked about. So give us a hot second. We're going to take a 1-minute break and we're going to be back and pick up where we left off at. So thanks. Alrighty, our ad break has started. And if you are here, that's because you are a supporter, sponsor, donor to the Soul Citizens. And I want to say, and we want to say, both Meg and I, we want to say thank you for supporting us, for being with us. We are, Meg, we are just about almost a month away from SitCon. Ooh, are you ready? Are you ready? You ready?
Sweet, hopefully.
Okay, well, I'm ready too. I'm excited. Even though it's going to be digital online, I think I think CIG knows that people are looking for something good, right? Even with the short time that it's going to be. And I think they're going to deliver personally. Have you got anything in mind you think they're going to do? What's your thing you would like to see? We got 15 seconds. Tell me the one thing you would like to see. What?
Base building.
Base building?
Base building.
You want my prediction?
Yep.
Nix.
Okay.
That's my prediction. Okay. That's my prediction. That's going to be the announcement. Okay. We'll see what happens. Thank you guys for being here. Okay. All right. We are back. We are back from our 1-minute break. We're going to go ahead and continue on and start talking about some other roles that some of these are already in the game. But I want to get Meg's feel on these and talk a little bit in greater detail. Meg, the descriptions that I'm bringing up now have to do with mining. And these descriptions actually come from the design brief that CIG did with their vision of what mining would be, particularly when it came to ships like the Orion. Okay. But they can still be applied, I mean, even to like the mining that we do today. But just kind of keep in mind, this is really kind of a bigger scale type of mining thing. So this is the pilot. Okay. The role of a pilot when it comes to mining. It said that pilots make a final call as to which individual asteroids warrant the most immediate attention, often choosing from an array of possible targets identified via scanning process. They also determine whether to remain in a fixed position around an asteroid throughout the excavation process or to adopt a more active role, gradually rotating around a selected asteroid and thus giving the team of operators a better opportunity to find, extract, valuable pockets of buried ore. We kind of get this a little bit when you're in a mole, right? Because you've got like that pilot who's in there who's kind of keeping an eye on which rocks to scan, positions the ship right in the right place and everything. And there's a lot of communication that takes place between the people who are working on the lasers, right? Like, I need you to go up more, down more, back off a little bit, or hey, it's about to blow, right? There's a little bit of communication going on there. Have you done mining in the mole with folks?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And how do you guys coordinate usually? Do you go out with a team, or just do you do like the 2-person thing? Some people even solo mole, but what have you done when you've gone on the mole?
Oh yeah, like 2, 3, could be even more sometimes. But yeah. Sometimes we have like somebody who's actually going around looking for rocks ahead of time, like a scouter.
Yeah, scout. Yep. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Why don't you do the beam operator?
The beam operator is typically the second in command of a mining expedition. They are responsible for wielding the multi-megawatt mining beam generators affixed to one or more robotic arms near the front of the ship that fracture asteroids into digestible chunks. The beam operator has direct control over the output wattage and thus able to precisely control how much energy to dispense into a given area of an asteroid.
So we get this with, again, the mole and the reclaimer. Well, not the reclaimer, salvage. Screw that. The mole. We get the people who are doing the actual operating of the beams themselves. One of the things that, if you guys have never seen the design brief, look up mining under do RSI mining design brief, and you'll see a very extensive description of what they want mining to be like. And there's actually a lot of, it gets even more in depth than what it is right now. Meg, they actually talk about having like a seismometer so that you can tell whether you can measure like whether a rock is volatile, like if you start cutting into it and it's going to explode. We do kind of have that a little bit, we can kind of see when it's going into the red, but they actually had it. And maybe they'll never implement this. Maybe that what we have right now is enough. But originally it was supposed to be that you actually had somebody who was monitoring that to let the laser people know, like, hey, this particular rock is really dangerous to mess with. I don't know if they'll ever do that or not, but it was one of the things that they had listed in their thing at one point. But do you like doing the beam stuff, or are you kind of like, boring?
I think after a while, I probably get like a little bit bored. Same with salvaging. Like I need like quick FPS stuff. But
I got you.
I do enjoy doing it. Especially with the people. Yeah. I think the way I think when you're by yourself, it's a lot more manageable. When you're with people, it can potentially get a little bit boring because normally how we do it is just like there's the pilot, there's the constant, and then there's that one person who's actually like fluctuating the flow of the beam. And so like you can just be sitting there. But hey, I mean, you could blow up, so that's exhilarating.
And a beam operator, I shouldn't just say this is restricted to mining because it is the same thing in salvaging too. I will say in salvaging, doing it in a reclaimer with a group of people is a lot more fun. You don't have to worry about blowing yourself up, right? You do have to worry about that when you're mining, right? And listen, I don't know if any of you all have ever been with a bad beam operator when it comes to mining, like somebody who, like, okay, I won't say any names, but I've known people who've been with people when they found like a lot of quantanium, like 60%, like a big monster quantanium rock, and they had somebody bad on that beam, and they blew that whole thing to Kingdom Come, and it's like probably like a $2 million rock, this is gone, so you gotta make sure you have a good beam operator. No, I'm not saying no names, serious. I'm not saying any names. But yeah, that you want somebody who knows what they're doing when it comes to the mining thing, because not to be funny, I've also seen where people do it and you damage the ship. Right, the explosion is so bad that the ship actually gets really blown out, the lasers and everything. So you do want somebody who kind of really knows what they're doing when it comes to operating that. For salvage, it's a little bit more forgiving, but I think that even if somebody doesn't know how to do it well, there's an efficient way to salvage, to scrape. And if you're not, you may miss areas, or you go back over areas that you could have got the first time, and it takes longer in the process. So I think that's important, though, that they know what they're doing for that. Okay, a scan operator. The scan operator is responsible. Whoops, let me change my screen. Is responsible for injecting remote material analysis packages, this is funny, RMAPs, into nearby asteroids that, upon success, immediately begin to send telemetry back to the pilot or scan operator, informing them of the asteroid's precise material composition. Depending on the ship and its associated hardware, anywhere from several dozen to hundreds of RMAP-equipped manually guided missiles may reside on a mining vessel. Now, for those of you who play Elite Dangerous, you guys will recognize this. This is very similar to what Elite Dangerous does. And what it is, Meg, is like right now, we just kind of scan a rock and we figure out what's there. This was supposed to be where you actually you launch this material into the asteroid, and then it gave you a report back on what was there. Now, I don't know if CIG will go there. I don't know. That's a lot to think about doing, because we kind of can scan a rock now and determine what's in it. It'll be interesting if they go that way, but it'll be another position for somebody to do something. Maybe in an Orion or something, but I don't know. I think that scanning might be just enough. I don't know. Do you think that's a little bit too much overkill, where you got to launch something into the asteroid to find out what's in it?
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point it's just another tier of mining. So I don't know. I wouldn't be against it. I like change.
You know what? Maybe if there's a benefit to it, right? Let's say that when you scan, you learn certain things, but if you do the other thing, you learn even more, maybe, you know?
They're talking about like pockets in one of these other ones, pockets of buried ore. So like with the Orion, maybe we get the introduction of like these massive asteroids that we can mine. And so, maybe that will help in that case.
Yeah, that's what the prisoner says. Maybe the probe would be more accurate, right? Give you much more accuracy. You know, that would be, I think that it could be done. It could be done. You know, I don't want to be redundant, but I think if you make it where general scanning gives you one bit of information, but if you decide to launch a probe, you get more detailed information. And I'm talking about on big asteroids, not no little bitty stuff, right? I'm talking about like really big asteroid, maybe like an Orion or a Rastra does that type of stuff, you know. We don't want to make it too complicated for a prospector or a mole, you know. All right, why don't you hit that next one for us? Refinery
Operator. A ship refinery operator, more commonly a refinery operator, is responsible for the safe and efficient operation of a refinery's equipment to transform raw materials into finished products.
Okay. CIG kind of has this with that Expanse, right? We've been waiting on the Expanse for a little while. I want the Expanse because I like you were talking about how you have a mining operation, like you got somebody who's scouting, but I love the idea of if you've got somebody out there who is doing the mining, like I'll take a small mining group, right? You've got a scout, you've got a prospector, maybe one or two prospectors, you've got a hull A or a hull B, okay, that's got nice exterior panels. And then you've got a refining ship out there, right? Or two refining ships out there. And you've got a whole mining operation. That's like 6-8 people who are all working together continually, right? So now you don't have to have that thing where people are running back and forth. And, you know, you've got literally your mining operations right there. And when you're done now, you've got finished product that you're bringing in, not just raw. And your profitability is probably going to be better too. More caffeine. Good to see you, More Caffeine. How are you? Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. The Expanse. Have you thought about that at all? Or right now you just
Nope.
Okay.
Not really. I've been thinking about the Arastra. I don't know if that is gonna have the same kind of
refinery.
Like a lesser. I definitely want to help crew that. At some point.
Arastra, and then we've also got it on the Galaxy.
Galaxy?
Right? Yeah. Galaxy's got a refinery coming too, right?
Yeah. I don't think I want that module, but
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Yes,
I don't see that.
I'm not saying you're
I
wrong.
agree.
Sorry.
No. I agree with you. I do not see the Galaxy for refining. That's not something, unless you're just trying to be covert, like nobody would expect it. We're refining with this thing. I don't know. It's in the Galaxy. I don't know. I look at that ship and I just see fight. You know, but I don't know. Mining, you know,
with medical module in there.
You know. Yeah, and you're right, More Caffeine. Of course, the big granddaddy or grandmammy, whatever, is the Orion. It definitely has the ability for refining. Yeah, it's got the ability. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a refining factory.
I haven't really
that
looked
one
into
is.
too much.
Yeah, that thing does everything when it comes to mining. So that's all inclusive. It's also a monster, though. It ain't no joke on that one. So yeah. Okay. Alrighty, let's see what's our next one here. Freight operator. This is a little bit different. The duties include monitoring process parameters such as temperature, pressure, maintaining equipment, ensuring product quality, integrity, responding to malfunctions. Now, you guys say, what's the difference between this person and the cargo person? Okay, CIG introduced this about a year or two ago, where they talked about, I don't know if you remember this, Meg, they talked about different types of containers. Remember that? Some of them will be refrigerated. Some of them will be hazardous waste, all that stuff. And what was it? What was the stuff we used to do? Remember we used to do those missions where we had like the hazardous stuff that would blow up on you and all that stuff when you're transporting it? Remember, that was all the testing stuff for this kind of stuff for cargo, right? So you're going to need somebody who knows how to store that stuff, stack that stuff. They told you they had to plug that stuff in for stability reasons, or maybe if you don't plug it into a certain type of grid, it spoils by the time you deliver it. So this is somebody who wants to make sure that stuff is in the right place, in your ship, right? Nothing gets thrown around, can blow up, or even is the one that tells you, hey, Captain, we got 23 minutes on this stuff before it's going to spoil or it's going to explode on us. Somebody who really understands what's being stored on your ship is going to be your freight operator. And that's important. Did you ever have any of those canisters blow up on you, Meg? You jumped into quantum and forgot, or stuff didn't make it?
Yeah, because what was that? It wasn't the Xeno threat. It was like the next iteration of that. People were just throwing everything on there. And I think just like some random person threw like, I don't know if that was like, I don't know what it's called, but they threw it on there. Yeah, and we blew up.
It was frustrating too, because sometimes you'd have this stuff on there and you just, if you were down in the front, like I'd be down in the C2 area where we were bringing that stuff in, and you just see them start blowing up one by one, and it's like, we're not going to make it.
Yeah.
We're not going to make it, which is also why you got to have that navigator that can tell you, here's the fastest way to get somewhere, So I know you mentioned about Spader, you mentioned about Quantanium being that type of thing too. Yeah, Quantanium's volatile too, right? So if you've got loads of Quantanium being loaded, you want to make sure somebody knows where the Quantanium is, and get that in first if you got to deliver it. So you're right. Okay. Let's see what we got next. That one's on you. Salvager.
A ship salvager recovers vessels, their cargo, and other property from peril through various operations like towing disabled ships and firefighting. Their duties also include removing hazardous materials, clearing navigation channels, and preventing illegal plunder of wrecks.
Okay. So salvaging so far has been about scraping, and for some people, pulling up components for some people. There was a bit of the looting side of it too, right? When we used to find ships that actually had cargo on them, right? That was pretty lucrative at one time, right? Matter of fact, people didn't care about the salvaging. They were just trying to get the box. Get the boxes, get the widow and stuff out of the bag, right? That was what they were thinking about. But I know that I'm sorry Jade's not here, but she's always one of the people that talk to us about UEX, the website, and how people do a lot of trading of things. And it seems like that is becoming very popular, right? Being able to find stuff and salvage it and put it on there and sell it.
Honestly, honestly, I think UEX is not as good as the Reddit Star Citizen Discord.
Oh, really?
If you're looking for like trading, just in my opinion.
Really?
People are way more active. Like I'm telling you, the trade, they have like a grouped section in the Discord for like a marketplace where it's just like a thread where you can put anything, and then they have like people there. They have a forum. People will have like their own shops set up. And like you can put up your own forum post, like this is what I'm looking for, like this is what I'm trying to trade, this is what I'm trying to sell. Or like you can go to people's shops and be like, oh, okay, they have this, and then like talk to them. And people are so active, and I feel like it's blown up ever since, I don't know.
That's
it's been
very
like a
cool.
few months, I feel like. But honestly, I've tried UEX. People, I swear, they do not respond to me. It's crazy.
Yeah, better luck on Reddit.
Yeah, but that Star Citizen Discord is amazing for anybody who doesn't look into that stuff. But
you guys check it out. Meg's giving you the hookup. Check out the Reddit. I didn't even know about the Reddit one, and so this is the first time I even heard about it.
I thought it was the
not for trading.
one.
Right. I mean, I didn't know about it as far as trading goes. I mean, the salvaging and people trading stuff rather. It's the marketplace. Okay, that's cool. Great. Now, I will tell you this, folks. I mean, in your orgs, think about the fact that you could have a salvaging group, and their whole purpose is to go out and get stuff for the org, right? They're finding components. They're just to have a warehouse or backup of stuff so that things need to be replaced. You don't have to go spend money on that stuff. I know that like in my org, Test Squadron, they do a marketplace every Saturday where they stuff that they have looted from that week. They bring it together and they trade with each other, right, internally. So if people need a certain gun or weapon, you say, oh, I've got this. Well, I've got 3 of these. You know, I've got some lightning rifles. I'll give you for that, blah, 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 right? They found a way to, as they've salvaged and looted and found things, to create their own trading system within the organization. So you can have salvagers, right, who are going out here and not just scraping stuff for RMC, which we know is going to become more important later on. Yeah. But now they're also pulling weapons and all the components out of ships and everything else, right? And whether they sell them or whether they bring them back for the org to use it, it's something to think about. You know, it's another form of gameplay that people could be doing. Okay. Yeah. Alrighty, let's talk about some of the more unconventional things that we don't have yet, but we know that CIG has hinted toward or has shown us. And one of them is farming. A space farmer cultivates cultivates plants while developing sustainable agricultural systems for consumption. Their role includes adapting farming techniques to microgravity and limited resources, managing advanced technologies like hydroponics and cultivation systems, and contributing to a self-sufficient artificial ecosystem within a spacecraft or space environment. So that means that you're going to be maybe farming in places that weren't so hospitable, you know, where maybe there aren't things like oxygen. I think we've already got like these little remote outposts and stuff where you can see they're growing things inside those little glass, you know, thingies and stuff like that. We've seen the bigger scale of the biodomes that are on ships like the Endeavor. There are people that want to do this type of stuff. I know that there are people who think, who wants to do farming in a space game? Trust me, there are people who will want to make money by doing farming. And the other thing too, Meg, is that it allows for gameplay for people like us who don't want to do farming to buy resources. We may need those people to make things for medicines, for example, right? Or food, or maybe there's a famine in some system, right? That we got to go pick up some, I don't know, some turnips, you know, and deliver them. I don't know. Do you know people who are into farming, that like farming games and stuff like that? Farming simulator. People, yeah. Farming in space is going to be interesting. Go ahead.
I know Starfield probably isn't like a great example, but I enjoyed doing that. Just like figuring out ways to, or like finding planets with certain resources and like figuring out a way to get them like to each other.
Yep.
So I don't know if that counts as farming, but farming materials.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we get missions that will have us go to, like, we have farms, like we do have farms, like what do they call it, processed food and stuff like that. I'm hoping that the farming gets like to that level where people who are not only farming this stuff, but they actually process it in some way or other, so that you have to buy from other players, right? If there's a mission to deliver something somewhere, you know, I can go to yuoyoMeg's farm, you know, and you can get plenty of what are those eggs called? What are those cows called? Space cow egg? What are they called? The Quasi-grazer eggs. Yeah, that's what you got, is quasi-grazer eggs, right? You can go pick them up from Meg's farm. All right. But yeah, I would love to see farming flesh out and get developed a little bit more. Why don't you read what's this one on Investigator?
Person who conducts experiments or is involved in scientific studies for research. The lead investigator in a clinical trial. Okay.
I'm curious about this one. I read some of this was from AI and some of it was just stuff that we had at other space games and stuff. Do you think that, like, CIG has had like what they call investigation missions, right? Where you have to go look for somebody, look for something. I'm wondering whether it's going to expand beyond that to where there's a need, like, for example, for the regen crisis, right? There was certain materials that they wanted us to get to Riari, right? Things for research and stuff like that. I would love to see where we get assigned, I need you to find these certain materials because it's going to have impact in the world, not just for the sake of getting it. You know what I mean? Like, one of the things I didn't like about the regen crisis was that I wanted the regen crisis to be like, how can I say this? ArcCorp Okay, remember how all the planets were competing, right? Everybody, all four of the planets, right? I wanted it to be not that we're competing for the guns and the armor, but we're competing so that our region works well at our planet. And if we didn't get enough material, like our corp was on the bottom, so I want our corp to struggle when it comes to regen. Hurston regen should run really good. You see what I'm saying? And what that would have done is it would have motivated people to worry about their planet more than worry about what paint they were going to get, right? The paint was nice, but I wanted it to have game impact, right? So, I mean, and that's coming now. I mean, we're getting there, but I really would have wanted it to be both that. You know, the armor and stuff would have been a reward, but like, and they tried to make it with game impact, right? Because the planet that wins gets a discount on buying stuff and everything. But I would have also loved it to be like, you know, your regions at our corp are going to take an extra 15 seconds now because ain't no goo at the planet. You know, I know some people have been mad about that, but anyway, that's what I would have loved to have seen, right? But that's the investigator thing. You know, someone who gets sent out to investigate and look up stuff and find things and whatnot. I would love to see something like that. Okay, the firefighter. This role involves providing fire protection, emergency response, and rescue operations to safeguard personnel, equipment, and critical spaceship infrastructure. We kind of opened up talking about this as an example when we were looking at the firefighters, you know, clothing or the garment or wear that they would wear. Do you remember watching the fire sequence at CitizenCon when they showed the reclaimer and stuff on fire, or any of the SCLs when they talked about it? What was your feelings about that as far as responding to that? Like, let's say, let me pick a ship. No, you pick a ship. Pick a ship for me, a multi-crew ship. Pick one.
Hull C.
Okay. Hull C. If you had a fire breakout, what would be your feelings on addressing the fire on that situation? Would you tell your crew to go deal with it? Do you think you would vent it if possible? Because a Hull C, I think there's only like a couple areas. There's only one area I think you get away with venting, and that would be like the engineers area in the back. I think that one you can open the doors on. But you got airlocks throughout that ship. Yeah. Would you send a co-pilot back there? I mean, how many people would you put on a Hull C? Maybe that's a good question too. How many people do you think you'd have on a Hull C? If you're loaded.
On it, maybe like 5.
Okay.
4 or 5.
Okay, so you feel like you'd have a couple people to spare to put out a fire then, if that was the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the turret people probably don't need to be fully turreted.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because if you're in battle and you get a fire breaking out, you're gonna pay him a little more for fire suppression. If you have a clause in your contract, if a fire breaks out, I'll pay you 10% more or something like that. Okay. Yeah, because you might get somebody say, hey, you hired me to be a turret operator, not no firefighter, right? So you might get somebody push back. Okay, with the fine print. All right. Yeah, I'm curious about, I've really wondered about, like, if you minimum crew your ship, minimum crews work if everything goes well. The question becomes when something doesn't go well. Are you willing to give up a turret person to put out a fire?
Yeah, I mean, if that fire doesn't go down, you're down. I don't know. That's a good question. Like, how much armor does a Hull C have?
Yeah, how much can it take? How much punishment? I don't know.
Yeah, but fire inside is definitely, in my opinion, that's more.
It's dangerous. Yeah. But you also lose your defensive capabilities when you start yanking them off the turrets to put out the fire. I'm just saying. I think it's tough.
What happens if you open the airlocks?
On a Hull C,
I would just have my crew have helmets on.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That way it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Fly fully vented.
Okay. On a Hull C. See, that's going to be interesting, Meg. Y'all forgive me. We're doing a little bit of creative thinking here. Years ago, they showed us that if you vented a ship, it created a vacuum and would suck you out.
Oh.
So, like on a Hull C, where the engineering area is, there's a door there. That one you could open. You could tell your engineer, get out of the area, open it, and you'd suck, and you'd get it, right? But where the components are and stuff, there's a door there. So once you open those doors up, you could vent that out and get all that. But downstairs on a Hull C, there's an airlock there. I don't know if you could. Oh man, that's a good question. We'll have to find out. I'm gonna test this out. If you unlock doors, will that open not only the ramp, but will it also open the airlock doors on the inside? I'm
there
really
should be
curious.
like a tablet, right? Didn't the tablet show that? Like you could open specific
Oh
doors,
yeah.
and it was not like
The engineering spot, from the engineering spot, you might be able to do it. Okay, yeah. So that might work. That might work. Okay.
if that's the place that's on fire, though.
Yeah.
Product.
Yeah. You don't get sucked out in space. If there's, you don't get sucked out if there's oxygen, if it's pressurized. Because they said they wanted to pressurize it, the prisoner. It goes both ways. If I'm a captain, I get in a situation where the crew dies from fire. Okay, yeah, I know you lose no matter whichever way, right? I don't know. All right, I don't know about all my space physics, so maybe I'm wrong. You get pushed out into space. Oh, I got you. Okay, you're right. Thank you. You're right. My correction. You get pushed out into space, not sucked out into space. I got you. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, the firefighters are going to be interesting to see. I hope that, again, that firefighting suit that they gave us, the ASD, I hope that they create other ones and you could buy a firefighting suit to protect you with fires and stuff. Alrighty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think someone said it earlier. I don't remember who said it, but the armor lockers and knowing where that stuff is on your ship, being able to quickly swap between that stuff if need be, I think that's crucial as well to engineering. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, otherwise you're just running around in these outfits.
Yeah.
No helmet.
Yeah. I'm laughing at Das Killer. Das Killer says, I don't want to play Power Wash Simulator in space to put out a fire. The future should have proper fire suppression systems. Heritage. I know. And this is a great point, Das Killer. You're absolutely right. But we've had this conversation before. Like, yeah, it's easy to say 900 years from now, they should have such and such. But 900 years from now, you shouldn't be flying your ship either. You should be just talking to it. And that's it. That's boring, right? There's no gameplay in that. So there's always, you got to have that gameplay side of it. But I get you. Trust me. It should be like an automated system that just automatically kicks in and takes care of the fire situation. But then the game, I don't know. You know, right. Thank you. Okay. On Origin ships, you're absolutely right, Das Killer. Origin ships should have it. I agree with you 100%. Drake ships, Power Wash Simulator. Okay. Power Wash Simulator on Drake ships. All right. That's what I'm going to say to that. I get you, bro. All right. I'm sorry. Meg, this was you. Next one's up for you. Repair.
Okay, repair person. This involves servicing activities like repairing malfunctions, refueling, and upgrading components on existing space assets.
Okay. Right now, we just do a repair button, right? We just, on our ship, we just hit repair and there's a restock and all that other stuff. What it doesn't do, though, is give us like parts, components, all that other stuff, right? One of the things I've always said, Meg, is if somebody comes and takes my ship, like if they're going to take it and I know I can't hold it down or the help's not going to come, I'm going to tell somebody in my crew to destroy the quantum drive, right? Go back in the back and blow that thing up, right? Now, I'm saying that for one, because one, I'm going to have a backup quantum drive somewhere on my ship, but it won't be where you think it is. And secondly, if they want to take my ship, they can go nowhere. That's going to be my main goal for doing that, right? So I think that keeping extra parts and things like that are going to be important, but also people who go in repair your ship is going to be important too. Some of those engineers we talk about, like the mechanic and stuff, that's who that's going to be, right? That's your repair person. Make sure the ship runs efficiently and everything. And I think that's who that's going to kind of fall under. But I think this is just another position that you think about. Somebody who just wants to do repair on your ship is important. I think that's going to be one. Okay, here's
I wouldn't even mind.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I was going to say I wouldn't even mind that role externally. Like I love the SRV. Mm-hmm. I just feel like the storage that it has is not that great. Like, if you know the call that you're going out for, you can. I feel like first of all, there's no probably way to deal with a cap ship, but even large, I'm curious, like if everything will fit on there. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it might have enough storage, but
no, I think
I wouldn't
you're
mind
right.
being a repair person in that.
I think you're right. I think for SRV is like a tow truck, right? And you know, like a tow truck can come out and either give you a jump or it could tow you. So I think you do need to have that room to keep some things on there, because maybe somebody's ship is disabled. And as long as you've got it, maybe you can do something to get them going, right? Even if it's nothing more than like maybe their life support is out. You know what I mean? Just something. Yeah. But it shouldn't be able to do like full repair, right? Just enough to temporarily do whatever it is to get you out. I wrestle a little bit with the fact that like this came up before about what happens if somebody kill, like right now, if you what's the word I'm looking for? Soft death, right?
Yep.
Your doors and stuff still work. Now, technically they shouldn't, right? Technically the elevators, everything should be off, right? But now, mind you, you can say, well, they got backup generator battery. Okay, if it's batteries, that's fine. And there are batteries on most ships. So I would hope that they would make it so that batteries become a factor. And if your batteries are dead, then you're stuck inside your ship. That might be too much for people. That might be too much for people. But the ships, there is a batteries area, right? And so as long as your batteries are charged, no problem. Maybe the batteries last you a certain amount of time, right? Like maybe the batteries, you know what I mean, last 6 hours, right? But if you don't get them, if you don't run your ship, your batteries drain, your elevators stop working, right? Your doors don't unlock. You know, maybe you have to manually open your doors. That might be a little bit too far, but I think it would be cool if they did stuff like that. But if they don't, it's like, okay, I get it. I can live without it.
Yeah.
Okay. This one I want to throw at you: driver touring. The main role of a driver escort is the safe and efficient transportation of people or goods from one location to another. Key duties include performing maintenance checks, planning efficient routes, and operating a vehicle to ship safely. Now, this goes into that person who you and I were talking about earlier. Remember how we were talking about when you went to bring in the Valkyrie, be that person that drops everybody off and goes?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the same person who's driving the Centurion, right? The person who is in a Crusader E1 who's doing touring. Those people that are getting people somewhere, delivering them safely, and maybe picking them up safely. You know, do we ever think about that person who's going to be driving the Nursa, for example, right? How do we look at that as a job? Will there be people that that's all they want to do, right? They just want to drive you in, get you there. They're not going to get out, right? We were just talking about this the other day about the Nurse and the Pisces. Like, you know how like now people will fly in and leave those vehicles there. And what happens when the people come in? They see them out there, boom, they blow them up, right? Because it's like, we don't want them to respawn. So now people are going to have to start thinking about, do we keep somebody in there and fly that thing or drive it off 10 kilometers, right? Someplace safe until we need it, right? But that person's got to get paid because they're risking their lives sitting out there too. So, you know, how do we look at that person? How do they get compensated? They didn't go in and do all the killing and shooting and stuff, but that's another job. I think that I think there are going to be people who want to do jobs like that. I'm one of those people that's cool with that. It don't bother me.
That even goes like if we don't take into account the ability for the possibility for CIG to enable a backup to your backup save location from a ship blowing up, that role is going to be even more important, and I will pay a lot for the safety of my imprint for that ship. If that Pisces blows up in Pyro and I am back in Stanton or Terra, bro's cooked. I'm mad.
Yeah.
It's going to take me so long to reset and get all the way back there.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. And this goes into the whole death of a spaceman thing, right? Where now life, that whole idea, and what's the investment that you have now has even more value, right? And is it worth paying somebody?
Touring, I'm going to be anxious the whole time. My life is in someone else's, my death of a spaceman is in someone else's hands?
Yeah. It's something to think about, right? Again, you want to make sure that it's somebody who is proficient at delivering people safely, right? You know, I always laugh about this house when you have to know, like, when is it time to, was it fight or flight, right? And, you know, let's say that you got a lot of stuff on you and maybe you're on your last life and you get somebody who says, oh, we're going to fight them. And you're like, hey, no, we're not fighting. I can't afford to die right now. You know, we gotta go. You put your ego away, you know. It will be funny. And like you said, even if it's like has to do with your imprint. I mean, there's so much stuff that they could do that make value of life even more important to players. But we'll have to see what direction they go with that. But that's a good point. Let's see, what's this next one? Medical technician. Is this me or you? I don't know who read the last one. I think this is okay.
Their duties encompass pre-flight, in-flight, and post-flight patient care, emergency response, and supporting flight surgeons in medical tests and investigations, ensuring the health and safety of air and space crews in various environments.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Medtechs. Now, this has been one that's been interesting to me. I personally think that now that I keep mentioning it, people are going to start leaving people in their Ursas, in their Cuddy Reds, in their Pisces Rs to make sure that those things are available to them. You're not going to see them abandoned, like, left, like people leave them behind and go do stuff. One, because as you mentioned earlier, the gel packs have value to them, right? So first of all, you don't want anybody to just even break into your ship and steal your gel packs. Secondly, you don't want anybody to destroy your ship because they blow your ship up. Plus, they blow up your gel packs, right? So I think that you're going to get one of the things. I think that I could be wrong about this. Right now, when you wake up in a ship, you're able to go up to the panel yourself and do the thingy.
Yeah.
But there's also an operator station, right?
Yeah.
For people to do it from there too. I'm curious as to whether CIG will move to a place where you have to have somebody operating it for you. Like if you're encapped, you can't operate that, right? So the person right now, the game is set up so that if you're encapped, I can drag you, bring you to the bed, put you on it, and then I can do the thingy, right? And that makes sense. That makes sense. If you're limping, like one time, Meg, I was hurt so bad that I had to crawl. Remember when you had the thing, if you had a tier 1, you couldn't walk anymore? Did you ever have that happen? You never had that happen?
So.
Tier 1 got so bad at one point where you like your legs would get jacked up and you couldn't walk. So you either had to you had to use that green pin, I think it was, and it would give you enough to walk. But once that drug wore off, you were doing this.
Yeah, I think that was the only thing I've experienced was I think the arm. And,
the arm, you couldn't shoot or you couldn't fly your ship. Yeah, okay, right.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, the same thing would happen with your legs, okay? I'm not kidding. I don't know if it was serious fun. It was a group of us.
Funny.
I had to crawl up a hill to get to the Pisces Red, right? It was horrible. It really was humiliating, actually, because I was literally had to do like this. Then something happened where the drug wore off or something. And when I got to the station, I literally had to crawl. Now, because what they could have done was if they had encapped me, because remember on the elevator, you can't get on that elevator, the medical elevator, without being knocked out. You got to be out. But they took me to a space station and there was no elevator. So I had to crawl from the hangar to the clinic.
That's crazy.
Now, mind you, I could have killed myself, but for the sake of role play, I crawled all the way to the thing. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was really horrible. Okay. And then they had to pick me up and put me on the table and everything. It was terrible. But anyway, but you will need medical technicians. It will be somebody who has to operate the machine for you if you want to come back. I think that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Okay. And last but not least, a combat medic. Now, this is something that people have been already doing. Somebody who's in your team who basically helps heal people. The combat medic's role combines battlefield triage with the unique medical challenges of the space environment, such as microgravity, radiation, drawing on skills from military combat medicine and aerospace medicine. This specialist provides immediate life-saving care in remote and high-stress situations where evacuations is difficult and impossible. Even though most players now kind of take care of their own medical situation, there are those times when you get downed and you need somebody to come help you. I don't know, do you ever have somebody who's ever in your group that kind of takes on that role of, they're kind of hanging back and they're going to make sure everybody stays alive? Or do you kind of most of the time have it where everybody's just kind of taking care of each other?
Yeah, taking care of each other. I kind of like being in that role as well.
Yeah, I think that the med tools, if they start refining them more, if they start making it so that there's a certain level of skill involved with using certain med tools, we might start seeing medical people who specialize a little bit more in things. I know I have a friend of mine, Archie. He loves being a combat medic. Like, that's his thing, right? He'll go out and do all the shooting with you, but he's the guy who, if you say I'm down, he's right away trying to get to you, and get you up. To me, there's a good side to that. The good side to that is that other people can stay focused on the mission and don't have to get sidetracked to worry about somebody. Now, sometimes, don't get me wrong, if you go out as partners and you got a partner and you're near your partner because you're working as a coordinated team, that's cool. right? Because you know that that person's there to back you up, and you also know who's going to respond to you. But I also think it's cool when there's somebody who is just that person. If they can get to you, you guys keep going. I'll get that person up, right? I'm on my way, you know, that kind of thing. And I think we'll start to see a little bit more of that too. I think that'll start to happen a little bit more. You know, they got a tractor beam on them. They know how to pull the body, get you to someplace safe, you know, get you back up, get you back running again, which is fun. Get you fun. Yeah. Okay. Okie dokie. Well, believe it or not, y'all, that's it. We hit them all. We hit all of our marks tonight. All the ones that we want to share with you all, at least. And hopefully you guys had some great things. I was watching chat. You guys had a lot of stuff that's popping up here. A lot of good information. Meg shared some really great information. Meg, tell everybody again where that was in Reddit, because you said a specific place for that marketplace. Where do you say it was? You said it's under Star Citizen?
Have it up.
Okay.
It's under the Banu Merchantman Market. It's called Market Street and then Grand Barter Bazaar.
Oh wow.
Those two places. And people sell other stuff too. Like they sell people were selling the what was the resource drive materials? Like they're selling stuff like that too. They're selling I think there's a place where people are selling merits. Like they just straight up are like, if you go to prison for 18 hours, you'll be out. Just pay. Someone will send you merits. Like it's awesome. It's really cool.
All right, so it sounds like you can get anything there, y'all. It sounds more like a flea market. So whatever you want to find, you want to find merits, you want to find screwdrivers, whatever you want to find. It sounds like that they might have it on this site. So Meg said, just check that out. She says she gets better responses. Nothing against UEX, just the fact that people respond faster and more active. So if you guys want to check, I know there are a lot of people who have good luck on UEX too, but always good to have multiple resources. Absolutely right.
Yeah, there are so many websites out there for like trade routes and just there's so many things. Yeah, it's awesome. The community is amazing.
Definitely. Okay, let me see. Did we have any questions? Oh, we did. Okay, we've got a couple questions. Pops in Space Meg asked the question, do you have any ideas as to where the mule might go? It appears that the Argo Atlas is the reason CIG has placed it on hold. You got any thoughts about the mule?
Where it might go?
Like what they're going to do with it? Like what's going to be its role? Like how will it be used? Since the Atlas, since more people lean toward the Atlas.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I feel like maybe it's just like there are ships that can do potentially things better. Like that's probably going to be the same thing with vehicles and bot robots. You're probably going to have to keep up with that robot, but the mule is a vehicle. I don't know, like it's the way that it can like rotate and on a dime, and I don't know, like there's got to be something that's going to make it better, and I think time will tell. And I could see myself using that. I mean, even we have the CSV SM. Like, does that not replace the mule? Like, I don't know. Like, those ships could be meaningless because of the Atlas. So I see that, but I don't know. I can see using my CSV SM to like load my medical supplies into my Apollo. I don't know.
I think you're right. I think that it's
a thing for everybody. And the variety. Whereas like who was just saying it earlier? I forgot. Someone was just dogging on the Atlas. And like that's perfect. Like hate it. There's something else for you.
Right.
Or you don't have to use any of those things. But yeah, I can even look into the future of like base building. Maybe you just want to drive your little mule around as you're taking cargo from one area to your freight elevator at the other side of, I don't know.
Exactly.
Like maybe you don't want to walk in an Atlas, but a mule is fast.
It is. Yep.
Maybe you want to drive the mule. Sure, you can launch that box, but what's in that box? Can you launch it?
Yeah, I think Meg hit it on point. I think that like Meg, I think about like places like the distribution center when you have to move something from one end of that. I mean, the big ones, the one we have is a medium one, right? What happens when you've got to take one down 2 levels underground, and you're not going to be in the Atlas doing that, right? So if you got to take a couple boxes down there because that's what the mission call, or just something, there's a reason why. That is a perfect vehicle to put it on an elevator, go down, boom, deliver it. You're done. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Atlas can carry 1 box versus the mule can have 6 8th SCUs and a 1 SCU in its booty. I'm taking the mule.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, I think you're right. I think we just haven't seen like the raft, you know, it wasn't until we got to a certain point where we saw how it could be used. I think the mule probably falls into that same category. He's got one more question for us. He says, right now the med bit is the doctor. Would you like that to be more in the hands of players? And Pops, I think we just touched on that a little bit, where we said that reason why that administrative console is there is so that players, if you're in-capped, you can't raise yourself. So somebody's going to have to be there to do the doctoring at that point to get you back up. Now, it'll be interesting to see when CIG implements this thing. Like if you die and you hit backspace, right? And you pop back up on that Ursa or that Nursa or that Terrapin or that Cuddy Red, is it an automatic process or is it a process where somebody needs to authorize it? And the reason why I'm saying that is because every time you res yourself, you're using a tremendous amount of material, right? And let's say you go out with a group of 6 people, right? And you can only get 2 reses out of this thing. How do you know when the materials are used up? If somebody reses and somebody reses again, your material needs to be reloaded. Somebody needs to be there to reload that. Or do you say, well, if the person reses and gets up, they got to make sure that they reload it? I mean, we're going to have to see how all of that's going to work out. You know, if I hit the backspace and I wake up there, do I automatically get up, or does somebody actually have to be there? You know, if Meg says, I'm going to res Griff, I'm going to be in the thing, then Griff needs to get up out of the seat and go to the panel so that when her body pops up, I hit the button and bring her back. I mean, I'm saying we don't know all that yet. Now, I know there are going to be plenty of people who are going to hate that. They're going to be like, no, you should be able to automatically do it if you hit the button. Because I know that that's what they want to be able to get back into the action fast. You know, and we'll see. We'll see. That's all I can say to that. But again, if you want medical gameplay to start to become a reality, you know, maybe that is that person that's going to be on there to do that. Maybe it is automated. I don't know. Maybe if somebody does it, like, you know how Meg, you know how when you use the med gun, you can hit yourself with the med gun and it'll blast you, right? But your drug levels go up super high. But if you use auto, it gives you the right amount of drugs and you don't use as much, right? So maybe it's a situation that if somebody's at the console, you get the right amount of drug. But if you do it automated, it just uses everything. You know what I'm saying? So it gives a benefit to somebody using the console. You can save some of the material. Who knows? We're just speculating, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
For you.
Sure.
All this talk has me more excited for the Apollo beds. Like leading up until like their release of this information, I've always said I do not understand why you would not just choose
all type ones. I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah. So what are you gonna put in your Apollo now?
I think it's gonna be dependent, right? It depends. Like if you're running medical because you are a medical team and you have a bunch of people out there in the field, you're going to have to look at how much, which, you know, we always talked about this before, Meg. Remember, I used to talk about operating costs on a ship, and people have looked at operating costs in the sense of fuel, right? How much is it going to cost to refuel, rearm? But now it's like, how much does it cost to be able to use the medical facility, right? So I put 2 tier 1 beds in there. That means that there's 2 people at a time, but I'm using what, 100,000 per thingy, roughly, something like that, right? All right. Now,
I think it could hold 200.
Will people, here's the situation. Will a situation dictate it is better for me to go back wounded versus dead? And what does dead mean, right? Does dead mean, like, in cap is one thing, right? Dead is another. Okay. Yeah. So in cap, does that mean my partners drag me back? Does it mean that somebody tries to res me? Does it mean that, like you said, my arm doesn't work anymore? Are you going to kill yourself because you can't shoot anymore? I'm asking you.
I mean, at the moment, yes.
Okay.
Like, depending on, like, because you can. There's no penalty. Right.
But if you do it now, you only use 50% of the material. But if you do backspace now, you use all the material up, which means somebody else couldn't get healed. Right?
Yeah, like it depends because also at the moment, I'm pretty sure it's 50K per injury.
It is per injury,
And
right?
so,
Right.
like, if I have 3, I'm dying.
Is it okay? That's my question. Is it per injury or is it per injury? Because I wasn't sure about that. Is it?
I thought it was, but I'll happily be wrong.
I know that if it's a res, it's all of it, 100. If it's I thought it was if it was a injury, it was 50. Not a, but I mean like if it's as long as it's an injury, it's only half. But if it's per injury, that's interesting. Because if you got 3 injuries, you got a busted up leg, busted up chest, and a busted up head. Are you saying that that's 150,000?
Yeah. It says the cost of healing injuries is a flat 50 CSCU.
Right, it's a flat fee, right? But is that per injury or does that cover all injuries? That's what we don't know, right?
That's a good PTU test that people should be doing right now. Potentially already have. I'm not sure.
I know it's broken. Yeah, Captain Jones. Yes, bro. I know because we tried to figure it out yesterday. Yeah, mostly dead means slightly alive. Yeah, I know. Okay.
Yeah, because if it's just like you're in the bed and you're like, heal me of everything, and it's 50, great.
But this is what I think. This is what I want CIG to do. I want CIG to keep it as a whole canister is to come back. Okay. After that, I want it to be proportionate to the injury. So to your point, let's say you've got a one injury, then you only use 20,000. If you've got a second injury, then it's 40,000. If you have a third injury, it's 6. You know what I mean? So that you're using it proportionately versus a flat. Because 50,000, to your point, does 50,000 mean all 3 of them get healed or just one of the 3 gets healed and I have to keep doing it? I don't know. That's going to be really weird. I don't know. We'll have to see. But that's a good question. That's a real good question.
I think unfortunately, regardless, once we do get Death of a Spaceman, regardless if it does cost more to heal, you'll want to.
Yeah.
Because you won't want to die.
Yes.
Because there will actually be penalties.
Yes.
So like where I can see right now, this seems like bogus. Potentially, if it is in fact 50 per injury, I can still understand that. Like we were trying not to die here.
Yeah, but that's the reason why you won't be 50 per injury. You know why? Because you might as well die and do 100,000 if you got 3 injuries, because it'd be 150,000 at that point, right?
Yeah.
So they don't want to exceed whatever it costs to come back completely whole. But we'll see.
And what Prisoner said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Maybe people will actually be flying to hospitals now.
Well, that's the point, right? I mean, that is the point, right? I mean, right. I was going to say it all depends, too. You know, I just think that it's going to make, first of all, I think that people are going to start thinking about risk a little bit differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We won't be so gung-ho, or we'll be more strategic, we'll be more thoughtful, or we'll be even more prepared, right? So that we minimize how much injury we take. Because right now we don't care because it's not a big deal. But now we will. It's not just about the wallet. It's about what happens if we get hurt really bad, right? If I get to the point where I can't use my arm, it's no joke now. You know, before, no big deal. Backspace, I'm back, right? But now it's like, you know, if I see I got a level 1, a tier 3 injury, I'm already saying I don't want to get to a tier 1, you know, or a tier 2 injury. So we'll see how it goes. Okay. All right. Well, those are good questions. Thank you. Those are good things. You guys are throwing some good stuff into the chat as always, too. So we appreciate that. Let's talk about what we got coming up next week so we can wrap it up. Wow, we already hit the top of the hour. Our show next week is called Making a Game, Building a Universe. And we're going to be talking about the differences in that and how Star Citizen lands in the sides of, you know, what is the parts of game development and game building, and then what it means to also build a game that ultimately moves into something very expansive, much bigger than a lot of games that are out there. And what does it mean when we say building a universe? What does CIG mean when they talk about building a universe? What does Chris Roberts mean when he says building a universe? So we're going to be talking about that next week. So hopefully you guys can join us on next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern time for that wonderful conversation on next week. And I think that's about it. Who's there was somebody who followed us? Malbec Vinalba. Malbec, thank you so much for the follow. Really, really appreciate that. Pops in Space, thank you also for the community gift sub. We appreciate that. I did not want to let that slide by because you have been generous and sending out some love to some other folks that are amongst us, and we do appreciate that. All right. Well, I want to say, first of all, special thanks to Meg, our good friend Meg, Soul Citizen Meg, who came on with us today and joined us and shared her wealth of knowledge and her payroll to paying off people. She shared that as well. So, Meg, thank you so much for letting us know what a hard deal you're going to make for people that work for you. And thanks to everybody who's been out there today, for those of you who followed, those of you who subscribed, and we just appreciate you guys as always. We'll be giving you guys more information toward the end of the month about our watch party that we're going to be doing at the Soul Citizens. We're going to be hanging out that Saturday, and we're also going to be giving out some information to you guys about who's doing watch parties around the country as well. There's a lot of them going on. Some CIG's going to, some they aren't, but we are going to highlight a few of them for you all. That if there's a bar citizen in your area that you can attend. Meg, what are you thinking about? Are you going to attend one down there where you guys are? Is there anyone going on down there where you guys are? Are you going to be in your chat with your people? What are you thinking about doing?
Yeah, I know there's going to be one in Austin, Texas. That's official.
Okay.
I'm just official, like with CIG there. Sorry, I know they're all like going to be great, but considering staying home, I'll just have to see and like just doing my own watch party.
Yeah. Okay.
Not sure.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one, right? Because you've got a community and it's like, what do I do? You know, I want to go. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is we're having one here in Chicago. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to it, but I'm going to be in our Discord, you know, while I'm there.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll be watching it, but I'm going to be in our Discord at the same time. So, yeah it's kind of tough. Like I said, we can't clone ourselves and be everywhere. So we'll just do what we can do. But that'll be awesome. All right. Well, we are going to send you guys over to, oh, Meg, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitch. My schedule is kind of hectic right now, but normally Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Central Time to midnight.
To midnight. Okay, awesome. Well, we are going to send you all over to Feral. Feral right now is a returning adventurer and Star Citizen flying around out there. And when you guys get over with Feral, let Feral know that you came over from the Soul Citizens. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you enjoyed the topic this week. Don't forget to be here next week for Making a Game, Building a Universe. And as always, we tell you guys, stay safe, take care of yourselves. Peace, love, and soul. And we'll see you soon. Ciao.
Bye.